Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi and today we're going to chat briefly about some of the new releases that are coming out next week. So just a few days away here, we've got some brushes from Sonia G and Koyudo and Pat McGrath. Now, Pat McGrath has done a Star Wars collaboration in the past, but she just announced another one. So you can go online, you can sign up for notifications, you can see what is part of that collection. The original, the first time she launched, we had two 6-pan shadows here, which, I feel like those were a little bit more special. This was new. We had new shades and everything. These shades that were in this palette have since been placed into her first mega palette. So, you can actually get the shades. And that one there was called Dark Galaxy. You can see we've got kind of this special cardboard packaging here with the Star Wars theme. This one was Galactic Gold. This one here was my personal favorite. And I love this particularly, I think these two shades were really special. This one, it looks kind of pink. Sometimes it looks purple. Look at that. So pretty. But, again, these shades you can now get in the original Mega palette. But I have to say, I feel like that particular launch, it went incredibly quickly. I actually missed out on some things during that launch as well. And it was just super fast. Now, she has another Star Wars collaboration coming out, and I have to say, I love the color stories, but I'm a little bit disappointed because we have a ton of repeat products. So I feel like when a brand does a collaboration, first of all, you don't want to see something like, personally, this is a personal opinion here, but, ColourPop, they do like collaborations all the time, with all sorts of random things. It's like every launch is a collaboration. That's way too much. I think if a brand does a collaboration, if they want to do it, in my opinion, the right way, it needs to be rare. So this collaboration has to be something that makes sense for the brand. It has to be rare to make it special. And honestly, aside from just special packaging, you should have some new shades and things in there as well. Now, Pat McGrath does have some new items in this launch, and I am excited for those. But we also have a lot of repeat items that do kind of fit well with it. They have special packaging for the most part. But, we've got some repeats here. So let's take a look at what is included. And on my eyes today, I am wearing the Midnight Sun palette, which is the mothership that is going to be part of this collection. So I have, the original traditional packaging, but the new one, the Star Wars packaging is gorgeous. Now, I personally am not like a huge Star Wars fan or anything. I've seen the originals. I have not seen all this new stuff that's come out with it. But, I go based more on the color stories than the fact that it's a collaboration. Midnight Sun is my second favorite mothership palette. My first being Subliminal, but this one here is just gorgeous. So, I think it is a really beautiful palette, and I do think the color stories fit really well with the Star Wars theme. So let me just go ahead and swatch this palette for you briefly. But here are the first three shades. And, I just think this is such a great palette overall that, I'm kind of mad that there wasn't a new mothership. At the same time, it's really great to see Midnight Sun getting a little bit more love, because I feel like when this one launched, it really didn't get as much attention as previous motherships. And then it wasn't that popular. So, and I don't know if it was because of the color story or the timing, because the release timing was a little, I don't remember all the details, but I just remember it was a really busy time period. So it just didn't get the attention that the previous ones had gotten. So this is the Midnight Sun, which is Mothership 6. And I love it, particularly, these three shades here. These are kind of like my most used from this palette. But I just think it's a really great palette. You've got some, warms, neutrals, and cool shades in there, a variety of finishes. So that palette will be releasing in the limited edition Star Wars packaging for $128 US. I have to say the packaging is gorgeous. Then we have some of her new 5-pan shadows, and I really like those. So I am interested in this. She has 3 new 5-pan shadow palettes, and they're going to retail for $36 each. We have Star Wars Divine Droid or Drive. I'm not sure, honestly, because I wrote it on a piece of paper and I was writing so quickly that I just wrote DR. So I'm guessing it's Divine Droid, but I'll have the name on the screen. And this one I'm really interested in. You've got kind of some really pretty like purple, pink, blue, a taupe, a chartreuse. I think this is just a nice bright palette, and it's something that you can easily combine with neutrals that you already have in your collection. Then we also have Sith Seduction, which I'm also interested in. This is kind of your more muted tones. It goes along really well with kind of these tones here in Midnight Sun. And we've got like the olive and the navy, champagne, kind of like soft burgundy and so forth. So I think those two 5-pan palettes are ones that I'm personally interested in. I think they're gorgeous. And then we have something more traditional to Pat McGrath called the Golden One. And you've got the golds and the burgundies and the bronzes. And I think it's really pretty. This is going to be a nice, warm tone palette. I'm going to personally pass on that one, but I do think it's a really pretty collection, although I do feel like those shades are very repetitive with other ones that we have from her. Now, moving on, we also have the Chroma Luxe Artistry pigments, and these are going to be $32 US. We have a few shades of this. We've got Smuggler Spice, which is a metallic rose with golden peach, and Extra Galactic Gold, which is a metallic antiqued molten gold. Rouge Rebellion, metallic crimson with magenta undertones. Falcon Noir, metallic anthracite with blue undertones. That one I totally want, the metallic anthracite. I think it looks gorgeous. So I'm definitely going to get that one. I'll probably pick up one of the other ones. I was kind of thinking either the Extra Galactic Gold or the Rouge Rebellion. Rouge Rebellion is something that I don't typically go for, but it just looks really pretty. So I don't know. We'll have to see the swatches. And then she also has her metallic Liquilus. So I'm wearing my favorite one of those, the Rose Divinity, today. But these just launched with the holiday collection, so they're already back as part of the Star Wars collection. They are not going to be in any different packaging. The box is different, but the actual tubes look the same in the photos so far. But these will be back, all 3 of the shades that came out. Let's just go ahead and look at those. Just so you can kind of see everything in one place. But we've got Nude Awakening, which is kind of your bronzy nude shade. And then my favorite here is Rose Divinity, which again is the one I have on my lips. You can see it's a really beautiful medium toned metallic rose. And then we have Crimson Sunset, which is, I put this one actually in one of my favorite winter holiday lip glosses video. Look, it's a really beautiful, kind of like a neutral red, but metallic. And I just think it's a really beautiful product. These are a great formula. If you didn't pick them up as part of the holiday collection, you might want to get these now. Or, you could see maybe it's going to be cheaper in the regular packaging versus the limited edition because of sales. So definitely something to look at if you don't care about the packaging. But she's also released new Lust glosses. Actually, not new. They are not new shades. I'm not 100% sure about Carnal Desire. I don't have all of the Lust glosses. Actually, I don't even have any of these anymore. But I know Bronze Venus and Pale Fire Nectar were previous shades for sure. I know I had those previously. They are $29 US. And again, same packaging, but just a different box. And then she's also brought out the color mascaras from holiday as well. So these here, and I'm actually wearing the blue mascara with the pink on the tips. I really like these, particularly the blue. But again, there doesn't seem to be anything new about these, anything Star Wars related about those. She also has her black one in a special gold package. So, that's kind of everything that she's releasing as part of the Star Wars collab, and everything launches on December 16th. So overall, I would have to say that it is nice to see, the new 5-pans, but otherwise, I kind of feel like this launch was a little bit of a letdown. because, you know, I would just like to see all new things. You know, occasionally it's great to see things like repackaged once in a while, like a previous favorite or something that hasn't been around for a long time. But when you're taking like a regular permanent item that you can purchase in regular packaging, you're just switching the packaging. For me, it's a letdown. So, you know, those are kind of my thoughts on this particular launch. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. I'm sure people who are huge Star Wars fans will be loving this and picking this up regardless because of the packaging. But coming from me, who is not a huge Star Wars fan, you know, I'm really more about the colors and the new items. So it was a little bit of a disappointment. Moving on, though, we do have a few other new things launching. On Tuesday, actually, Sonia G is launching 2 holiday sets. Now, these are intended more towards like a Fuji brush collector versus the regular average makeup user. And these brushes are going to be priced a little bit higher. But we also have, you know, more special materials that are used here. So first up, we have the Traditions Holiday Trio. That's going to retail for $140. It's 3 eye brushes. We have the Kiyaki wood handles. So this is one of the Kiyaki travel brushes. This has the same handle wood in here. I love this. You know, it's Kiyaki wood is, you know, kind of like a pricey, expensive, rare wood in Japan that they use for, you know, special furniture, temples and things like that. So, you know, it's a really, really nice wood to use. And you've got this beautiful grain. The grains can be, you know, a whole bunch of different variations. You can even have like wavy lines and so forth in there. So I just think it's really nice. It's unique. Now, this is the Kiyaki travel brush set that she came out with a couple of years ago. Her handles are not going to be this short. So on this set, we're looking at something more comparable to the Sonia G Pro series or Sky series handles. So they're going to be about this length. So if you're not looking at the ferrule, just looking at the color, they're going to be about the same length as the Sky series here. And if you also take a look, we have more of a curvy handle here as well, which is something different for Sonia G. So that curvature, again, all of these things are handmade by artisans, master artisans, you know, so these are going to be things that are truly a work of art. So, you know, we've got matte black brass ferrules, which I think go very nicely, just like we have in the original Kiyaki travel set. Also on here, I really like the inclusion of the Japanese characters. We have Kumano Fude in Japanese characters vertically on the brush. We also have them labeled as S1, S2, or S3. When I first saw that, I was thinking, okay, S for Sonia G, but it's actually S for special for this special series. So S1 is going to be a small detail brush. S2 is going to be a medium laydown brush, and both of those brushes are going to have yellow Canadian squirrel hair. So, you know, we're looking at some more special hair types from Sonia G here as well. And S3 is going to be a crease or blending brush, and that's going to be white Canadian squirrel. So yellow Canadian squirrel for 2 of them, white Canadian squirrel for the 3rd. You can only purchase these as a set. It is limited edition, $140 US. She has a ton of details and comparisons on her blog, so I will leave that linked down below so you can check that out. But I think this is a gorgeous trio. I'm definitely purchasing this. I'm also going to be purchasing her other launch, the Mount Fuji brush. Now, this is a brush and a holder, and I have to say, you know, this is expensive. It's $195. So definitely very high priced. But again, if you are somebody who is a collector, I think this is a really special brush. And the holder is representing Mount Fuji. She doesn't have any like major labeling or anything. When you have your brush in the holder, you don't see anything. The Sonia G logo is actually on the bottom of the base. So you have to actually flip it upside down to see that. And then, you know, the brush is labeled where it will be hidden when you put it in the holder. So I think it's really special. This holder itself, you can tell just by looking at it that this is not something easy to make. Again, it's handmade. It's done by master artisans. You know, everybody has to have a lot of experience to even be doing these types of techniques. And the holder is made of the dark brown part is walnut wood and the lighter part is maple. The handles of the brush are also going to be the walnut wood. So, you know, everything kind of ties together, and you can see we've got kind of that wavy change in the wood tone where, you know, you're looking at the lava overflowing, or actually it's supposed to be snow, a snow top on Mount Fuji. So, you know, you've got that wavy partition there, which I'm sure was incredibly difficult to make and get exactly right. The hair on this brush is actually going to be Psycho, and this is going to be a gigantic brush. So think of something that's going to cover the majority of your face. You can use this for bronzer. That's kind of what its intended purpose is for. I will probably also use it for powder. But this has a wavy ferrule like we have on the Niji Pro. So here's the Niji Pro. This wavy ferrule, not only does it look good, but it does also increase your density, you know, and the firmness in the center of the brush, just, you know, allowing for a little bit of an application difference. So this brush, I mean, you can see the Niji Pro brush is pretty large, but the Mount Fuji is significantly larger than that. So, I mean, you're looking at a huge brush here. So we actually have this wavy ferrule is going to be in brass, but it's going to be a matte beige shade. So again, we're kind of going with those light and dark shades, matching the holder. Everything's really kind of, you know, tying in and coordinating well. And the bristles, you know, we've got the Psycho goat hair, but they actually have the Kakishibu dye treatment, which is the persimmon tannin dye. And, you know, there are some other brushes like that. And this is an example of a brush that also uses this dye technique. So I just purchased this. Let me unwrap it real quickly. So this is the Koyudo Kakishibu 02 powder brush. Sorry for my pronunciation there. But you can see this is going to be using the persimmon tannin dye technique as well. This is more of your traditional use of it. You can see you've got kind of a more vibrant orange. The dyes, you know, the color and so forth will change over time. And that's totally normal to be expected. But one of the reasons they use this, and this is a natural dyeing process, it's not easy to do. It's pretty technical. And, you know, this, you know, your brushes are very, very soft. You get some natural insect repellent from this. Obviously, you get the beautiful gradient. And it's also like anti-mold. So, you know, there are some great benefits to using this technique. So Sonia G, she wanted to use this technique, but she wanted the color to be a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle, to really tie in with the whole Mount Fuji theme. So she actually had to change the process a little bit, making it actually a little bit harder. So again, we've got another special technique going on here. And also a portion of proceeds, there's a donation that's made with the purchase of each of these brushes to the Atomic Bomb Dome Preservation Project Fund. So just, you know, overall, I think it's just an incredible project. Again, this is not going to be for the regular everyday you know, makeup user who, you know, isn't necessarily as into brushes. This is really more for your brush collectors, those who are interested in, you know, collecting and, you know, purchasing, using some of the more special materials. And that's what we have here. I think this collection is very special. I cannot wait to purchase this. And that's going to launch on Tuesday. Now, in addition, and Sonia G actually has shared these on her blog because Koyudo sent them to her in advance. So these will be coming out very soon from Beautylish as well. We have 2 brush sets from Koyudo. This is for Year of the Rabbit, which, you know, that's going to be our Lunar New Year here coming up. And we have the rabbit jumping on the moon. I think this is such a cute set. So we have a slanted face brush, kind of like that 3D shape, you know, kind of that curvy slant, and 2 eye brushes here. And you can see they're more of like a domed eyeshadow brush, one larger, one smaller. And these are going to have white Psycho hair, but they look gray, right? That's because they have actually been dyed with a dye from the Japanese green alder tree. So that is called Yashabushi. And so that's going to give you kind of this like gray gradient on the bristles. I think it's just really beautiful, you know, very reminiscent of like rabbit fur and so forth. So I think it's really gorgeous. This is such a cute brush. I'm not sure how much these cost, but both of these sets are on my radar. The Sonia G is going to take priority, but if I still have money left over, I would love to get both of these sets. And then we also have the Rabbits and Plum set. And these are going to be using red squirrel hair, you know, really special. So I would guess that these will probably be a little bit more expensive than the Rabbit Jumping on the Moon set. So we've got rabbits and plums. They're using kind of a Japanese cherry wood for the handles. We've got the black lacquer over it. And, again, we've got a face brush, kind of looks like a gorgeous cheek brush to me. And then 2 eyeshadow brushes here as well. The shapes on these are a little bit more unique than the ones in the first set. So I'm definitely interested in both sets. And both of these are going to come packaged in the Polonia boxes. So those are these types of boxes, and those are always great to store brushes in because they have some like natural properties like insect repellents and so forth as well. So one thing I forgot to mention about the Sonia G, the Traditions Trio, she talks about the packaging on her blog, but that's going to be more of your traditional packaging. But the Mount Fuji brush, that is going to come like in like a box and a washi bag and so forth. So you kind of washi paper bag, by the way, but you've got it's going to be like a little bit more elaborately packaged. So just something to note there. It would be a really nice extravagant gift. So those are the releases I just wanted to bring up, and get your thoughts on those. I'd love to know what you think about Pat McGrath, Sonia G, Koyudo, and let me know what you're looking forward to. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you very soon. Have a wonderful day.